Hello and welcome to our video course on another hot topic in supply chain management. This time we are going to talk about the concept of postponement, which is also called delayed differentiation. The aim of this short video is to give you a basic understanding of how postponement works. Additionally, we will talk about the benefit it provides for a company when applying this concept. So, let's start.
This is Mark. Mark works for Multicolor Inc., which is a paint company. Multicolor produces a wide variety of different colors and shades. Mark is responsible for the customer supply chain. This part of the whole value stream starts with producing the different paints, continues with packing pallets for Multicolor's own paint stores, and ends with shipping the pallets to their customers. Of course, in the end, Mark must ensure that the demands of their final customers are being met.
Let's analyze the supply chain of Multicolor in detail. Multicolor uses a base and 10 different stainers to produce 250 shades of paint. Usually, they produce a certain amount of each of the shades to realize economies of scale. These shades are then stored in a warehouse. Multicolor also operates a large number of shops where customers can buy paint. These shops send orders to the Multicolor headquarters for certain quantities of specific shades. Then, the paint buckets are packed onto pallets according to the orders and shipped to stores. To satisfy customer demand as effectively as possible, the shops provide as many colors as they can, and normally they keep some safety stock for unexpected demand. You can imagine that Multicolor needs a lot of warehouse capacity for its paint buckets. However, it's rare that customers don't find the specific shade they're looking for. In such a case, which is called an out-of-stock or out-of-shelf situation, customer demand cannot be satisfied. This is neither good for the customer nor Multicolor.
Mark, being responsible for the customer supply chain, is not fully happy with this particular situation. On the one hand, both the central warehouse and the shops carry a huge safety stock. This requires warehouse capacity and increases holding costs. On the other hand, too often there are out-of-stock situations when specific colors are not available. This leads to dissatisfied customers, lost revenues, and a bad reputation. Thus, Mark is looking for a solution that solves both problems at the same time. What would such a solution look like?
The next morning, Mark flips through a logistics newspaper. Suddenly, an article from a totally different industry catches his eye. It's about how Dell optimized its supply chain by implementing a postponement approach. Mark wants to know more. In the postponement approach, so he reads, the customer-specific finalization of the product is postponed as far as possible, that is, to the point at which demand is actually known. He then reads about the push and pull processes and the push-pull boundary. Mark starts digging deeper. A postponement approach can be applied when production and distribution processes are based on forecasts, but not on real demand. Thus, production and distribution are typical push processes. However, as you know, there's always the risk that the forecast is wrong, and Mark knows the consequences of inaccurate forecasts. Postponement moves the so-called push-pull boundary so that specific production or distribution processes are not started before the customer demand is clear. In the article about Dell, Mark reads that pre-assembly of common components is done based on forecasts, but the final assembly and configuration of laptops, tablets, and personal computers is not started before a customer order has arrived. Mark is impressed. Can he implement a postponement approach for Multicolor's supply chain?
Mark starts to identify the process types in Multicolor's current supply chain. He realizes that production, warehousing, picking, packing, and distribution to the shops is all based on forecasts of possible future demand. Thus, these processes are typical push processes. There's only one process that is based on a concrete customer demand. That's the process of picking a bucket of paint from the shop's inventory to satisfy a customer in the shop. It becomes clear to Mark that at least some of the problems in the supply chain have to do with the push character of the process.
Mark asks himself, How can I apply a postponement approach? What processes have to be adjusted? Do I need any investments? He needs to think. After a while, he knows what to do. He starts designing a new process chain. He realizes that the most critical factor to consider is that multicolor produces 250 shades of paint without knowing the concrete customer demand. This has to be changed. However, if multicolor would produce based on concrete orders and then ship to the stores, delivery time would be far too long. There has to be another solution. And there is. If Multicolor's own stores were provided with a tinting machine that combines base and one or more stains in different quantities, the shops would be able to produce the shades needed the moment any customer comes in and orders a certain shade. Thus, the production of all basic components of paint remains in Multicolor's plans, such as the base and the 10 stains. This production process is planned based on forecasts. The warehouse needs much less space since it only needs room for the base and the stains, but not 250 different shades. Base and stains are then shipped to the stores. Again, there will be savings because due to reduced safety stock, the overall quantities of products shipped to the stores can be reduced. Additionally, the stores can reduce their product stock levels. Why? It's quite clear. Because it's much easier to fulfill actual demand than try to forecast demand for each of the 250 different shades. The finalization of the product will only occur when a specific customer orders a specific shade. This is a typical pull process, which is postponed to the latest possible moment. When Mark outlines the current and future supply chains to compare them, he realizes how much the postponement improves both the effectiveness and efficiency of Multicolor supply chain.
Now, Mark needs approval from Kevin, Multicolor's general manager. He explains to him his idea and outlines the general concept, as well as how he would implement postponement at Multicolor. Kevin asks about the benefits and additional costs. Mark explains. We can definitely reduce stock levels of finished products, both in the warehouse and in the stores. This leaves us more physical space in the stores to sell products and decreases the required capacity of the warehouse, which will lower holding costs. At the same time, we will be better able to meet demand, since out-of-stock situations will be dramatically reduced, thereby improving our reputation. And we can realize significant economies of scale in the first part of the supply chain, the push part, and are very responsive in the second part, in the pull part. However, we need to set up tinting machines in the stores. This will call for some investment, and we'll need to train our staff in the stores to use the tinting machines. I will do a cost-benefit analysis and use concrete data so that we can justify our decision. Kevin is convinced. He appreciates Mark's initiative and is looking forward to making Multicolor's supply chain more effective and efficient.
So guys, let's wrap this up. We can see that postponement is a concept that delays customer-specific finalization of a product up to the point at which customer demand is known. Thus, it shifts the push-pull boundary in a supply chain as close to the customer as possible. The push part focuses on efficiency and can realize economies of scale. The pull part is very responsive so that customers can be served in a flexible way. Stock levels and out-of-stock situations can be reduced significantly.
We hope this short video has helped you understand the basic concept of postponement. Of course, every postponement approach in a real-world situation must be analyzed and calculated in detail. However, this is something we do not cover within our introduction. Thank you for watching. If you liked our video, we would appreciate you pressing the thumbs up icon on YouTube. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email personally. Thank you very much, and goodbye.